Travelling by train, you conjure up images of opulent carriages, stylish passengers, and thrilling destinations. I'm Jonathan Phang, a self-confessed bon vivant with an obsession with gastronomy.
Perfect. I've forgotten about my 48-year dieting.
In this series, I'm going on a gourmet journey, crossing continents from Australia to Canada, the highlands of Scotland to deepest, darkest Peru, on board some of the world's most extraordinary trains.
Wow.
On my gourmet adventure of a lifetime, I'll be sampling some of the world's best culinary delights. Both on board the trains and at my many stops along the way. I'll be meeting some wonderful chefs and amazing characters.
It's been a pleasure to go with you. Nerve-wracking, but I'm thrilled I did it.
And finding out once and for all, is it better to travel than to arrive? I'm Jonathan Phang, and I'm on a two-part adventure, travelling the length and breadth of the sixth biggest country in the world, Australia. I've already travelled from Perth to Sydney, have crossed the Nullarbor Plains, visited little towns, met some wonderful people, and have frankly eaten and drunk myself into a happy stupor. I've now arrived in civilization, Sydney. It's the capital of culture here in the South Pacific. Coming up in this episode, I span the decades of Australian train travel with the old
Literally, they built this railway by hand.
And the brand new, as I travel down the Sunshine State of Queensland. I witness some of the most remarkable sights from the best possible vantage point. I get up close and personal with one of the locals.
She's not too smelly, is she?
And all the while eating some incredible Aussie tucker.
It's quite possibly the best bit of whitefish I've ever had. Heaven.
I've travelled over 24 hours halfway round the world to this extraordinary country. In a few days, I'll be heading north to Queensland, where I'll explore Cairns, a subtropical paradise, visiting the rainforest in Kuranda. I am in Sydney, one of the greatest cities in the world. I can't wait to see the Opera House, the harbour, the beaches, and of course try the food. And I've come up with a cunning plan to see it all.
Oh my. Well, I said I was going to do a lot of first experiences on this journey, and here's yet another one. Look at what I'm getting on. Will I fit on it, is the question.
Now, I'm frightened of lots of things, but I've never really experienced fear of flying. Until now.
I think I'm getting motion sickness just looking at it. Oh, my Lord. Well, you know what? If my time's up, isn't it? But I think it's going to be absolutely spectacular. I mean, look at where we are. And I'm just going to see absolutely the entire city from there. And then I'm going to the very glamorous Palm Beach, which I've never been to before, but it's where all the rich and famous hang out. And my good mate, Jerry Hall, gave me a tip of a restaurant there, so I'm going to go and try the delights there too.
First of all, a safety briefing with our first officer, Julien.
Now there is one safety rule: never inflate your life jacket inside the aircraft. Wait to be outside before you inflate it.
Even if I could get this thing on, I'm not sure how this little thing is going to save me in the event of a crash.
Oh, Julien, I think I might need a hand.
Flattered as I am that Julien thinks that I'm a medium, it's safety first.
Does it come in a double XL?
I'm one of 4 lucky passengers. Move over. Room for a little one?
Shall I sit in the middle to balance it out? I'm in. Oh. There we are. You're not coming with us, Julien? No?
Oh, that's a shame. I'd saved a space for him next to me. Now, is it just me, or are pilots getting younger these days?
So whenever you're ready, just put one of your headsets on and we'll be ready to go. Okay?
We're headed to Palm Beach, an exclusive resort on a spit of a land some 26 miles north of Sydney. Takeoff is my least favourite part of air travel. Well, that and landing. So let's just say having the sea for a runway, and forgive me, but a 12-year-old at the control has got my nerves jangling. It's something of a leap of faith, but we're up, and my worries melt away as we fly away from the city. Later, we will fly over the harbour, but for now I take in these amazing views of Sydney's northern beaches, coves and bays. Oh, how the other half live, eh? Would a trolley service be too much to ask for? Where's my in-flight meal? And now I have to brace myself for landing. I take it all back. That was a smooth landing.
Need a paper bag. That was the most amazing flight I've ever taken. But the moment we got up there, it was fine. And the views were just amazing, spectacular. And the only way that I could have seen all of this was by doing that plane journey.
And the views here aren't bad either.
I mean, just look at it. How can you not smile when you look at that view? So this is Palm Beach, which is a sort of, I suppose it's where the rich and famous come and hang out at weekends. Also, Home and Away is filmed near here. Another reason I wanted to come.
Well, you can see how it doubles up as Summer Bay. This is the place to have a holiday home. It's popular with surfers, walkers, and just about anyone who's lucky enough to get here. And the restaurants are pretty fab as well. And I've arrived just in time for my favourite meal of the week, Sunday lunch.
So here I am at the world-famous Jonah's in Palm Beach. It's been going since the 20s. It's had very many guises, but the one thing it's always kept is the most elite of customers like me. And all that travelling's got me a little bit peckish again.
Did I mention my friend Jerry Hall recommends this place? Well, she's only gone and got me the best table in the house.
Now, how about that for a view? I'm very glad I came. Feeling a bit queasy from the flight, but looking at that, doesn't matter anymore. Thank you.
They seem to know my priorities here. First of all, a chilled glass of Hunter Valley Semillon. I don't know who Jerry has said I am, but the main course has been brought to me by the chef. He's even cleaned his whites.
Right, so we have the Glacier 51 toothfish here for you.
Lovely.
This is the Patagonian toothfish caught in the roughest environment in the world, in the sub-Antarctic.
Thank you very much. I'm looking forward to it.
Pleasure to meet you.
Pleasure to meet you. Thank you.
It's much sought after by top chefs all over the world.
So it should melt in my mouth. He's an honest man. It is like butter. It's absolutely amazing. It's quite possibly the best bit of whitefish I've ever had. I mean, like dissolves the moment you put it on your tongue, literally.
Just when I think things couldn't get any better, my sparkling Chardonnay is served on the veranda. I've been made to feel very special, which in fact has nothing to do with my well-connected fashionable friends, but that's just how they do things here in Palm Beach. I've come out to just get another little vista and a beautiful view over Whale Beach. The gardens are so fragrant as well. I just think it's paradise, really, so I'm going to have a nice pudding and ponder. People here seem incredibly happy and content and laid back, and you can see why. Well, I love Palm Beach. I want to move to Palm Beach. I want to live in Palm Beach, and I want to get a Jonas every Sunday lunch like I have today. And just sort of sail around at sunset like I'm doing now. This, to me, is paradise and heaven rolled into one. So it's been a really lovely afternoon, I must say. The meal was beautiful, the location was beautiful, and I didn't realise that you can have such natural beauty only an hour's drive from Sydney. My relaxed mood takes a bit of a jolt when my seaplane looms into view. I'm sure the pilot is in full control of the situation. I mean, I love the way the pilot just takes it all in his stride. I mean, he is a teenager and is wearing no shoes and flying this plane. But it's, again, another example of how laid back Australia is, and you just live with the elements, don't you, here? All right, Deej? Very good. When's your birthday? I must get you a pair of shoes. How lovely to be flying over Sydney Harbour in the sunset.
I know, it will be.
Aren't we lucky? I'm happy to say this time I'm able to relax and enjoy the flight. Flying this low as the sun begins to go down is a once-in-a-lifetime experience, but the best was yet to come. Sydney Harbour, the Opera House and the Sydney Harbour Bridge have never looked better. That was a gourmet and scenic experience I'll never forget. But for amazing food in the most simple of surroundings, the locals told me to head 6 miles south of the city. Mike at Kitchen by Mike has worked with the best.
Jonathan, how are you?
I'm very good, and I'm loving this place.
So I wanted to go and cook at a Michelin restaurant. That's what I wanted to do. So I went and cooked it at Aubergine with Gordon. I went and did Pied à Terre with Tom Aiken. And after I'd done my stint in those, I realised, actually, wow, it's really fancy food, but I want to do maybe something different. Then I opened the pharmacy for Damien Hirst, which was so much fun. Yeah. Then I came back and ran Rockpool for Neil Perry while he went and opened Rockpool Bar and Grill in Melbourne. So I've done a big wide range.
You've got an amazing CV, let's face it. I mean, all the classics, all the greats there. But this is your classic restaurant, and I think this is just great.
Thank you, thank you.
It's first come, first served here. The chalkboard is regularly updated with seasonal local dishes. Everything is homemade, even the bread and the butter. Smell this fresh bread and look at it. Look at the crust on it.
Smell that.
Oh.
You want a piece?
Yeah, not all.
No thin slices here, Jonathan. No thin slices here. I spread it on like cheese. Go for it.
Yeah. Well, that butter's wonderful. The texture of this, like heaven, heaven. Can you make sure we don't run out of that delicious pork belly before I get there?
Oh, I can't
guarantee
that.
Give me the plate, quick! This place is a refreshing change from starched white linen tablecloths, unfriendly waiters and a shiny silver cutlery. It doesn't matter who you are, you have to queue up. Having said that, if anyone comes between me and my pork, they'll have me to deal with.
There's only one piece of that delicious pork left. I think they'll hate me if I nick it, won't they? I'm going to be accused of queue hopping. I'll just stick to my crust of bread, I suppose. But look at the crackling on it. Look, I think I've fallen in love.
I needn't have worried. Mike has pulled rank and is going to provide me with a selection of his very best dishes. Pumpkin, pears, pomegranate, to name just a few highlights. But it's the pork that's the main event.
Oh, look. Oh, Mike. I'm so
belly.
pleased. I was stressing about not getting a piece, but you've got me 3. Fabulous. Smells so fantastic. And look at that pumpkin as well, all lovely and caramelised. What's the sauce on the pumpkin?
So we caramelise it with pomegranates.
Yeah.
And then we use a lovely spicy yogurt dressing on top.
Wonderful. OK, well, that's going to be gorgeous with that pork and
Sure.
pear. Now, do you mind if I just dig into this pork? How long has that been roasting? It's just melting in my mouth. Oh, wow.
Well,
I never have the patience.
what we do with that is we actually salt it overnight, then we confit it the next day.
Wow.
And then we roast it the day after. So it's had a good 3 days.
Oh. So
How is it?
worth it. Oh, my God, that is incredible.
I'm going to take a piece of this.
Right. I can absolutely see why people come from all around Sydney. When the secret's out, they'll be coming from all across Australia, I reckon, to have your 3-day pork.
Thanks.
Fabulous. I've got things to do. I'm going to be here for a couple of hours. I'll see you later.
It just goes to show that with all the trimmings and the trappings of fine dining that I'm lucky enough to experience on my travels, when the food is this good, everything else is irrelevant. I've left Sydney and travelled 1,700 miles north to Queensland, affectionately known as the Sunshine State. Later on, I'll be journeying to the Rainforest on a historic railway built by hand during the birth of this nation. Then I'll be taking a brand new high-speed train on its inaugural journey that's set to revolutionise high-speed travel in this nation's second largest state. The spirit of Queensland will whiz me on a 1,000-mile trip from Cairns to Brisbane in just 24 hours. So I've arrived in the subtropical paradise of Cairns, situated on the northeast coast of Australia on the Coral Sea, home to the Great Barrier Reef. My first stop is a unique restaurant on Palm Cove, right on the Coral Sea. Nunu is as far from steak and chips as you can possibly imagine. Chef Nick Holloway has the most incredible larder on his doorstep with sustainable fish that most chefs would give their back teeth for. His novel approach to cooking and his intricate dishes on his tasting menu brings in customers from all across the state.
We're going to make a beautiful dish together. It's a Thai salad. It's too much of everything. It's homemade junk food. Too sweet, too salty, too sour. But in every mouthful, just awesome.
Intrigued and maybe a little afraid, I slip into Nick's kitchen.
Hello, everyone.
This is the team, my little motley band of pirates. Anyway.
Hello.
Right.
They all look thrilled. Right. Oh, now that is the thing.
Isn't that absolutely exquisite? So this is the wing from a red emperor. And a red emperor is probably one of our more famous fish here on the Great Barrier Reef, and they're a big, giant, red bottom feeder.
What, literally that big?
Well, this particular fish would have been about 15, 20 kilos. They're probably not that big.
And what do you mean by bottom feeder?
They live around the bottom of the bommies, where the coral, like the coral kind of formations.
Right.
And they nibble in around the coral and do that sort of stuff. And I think
just to clear that up. Yeah.
their inactivity makes them a really beautiful, tender fish.
There's an awful lot of fresh fish served in Australia, but up here on the Coral Sea, they like to do things differently. Nick is preparing to smoke the fish, but we don't need a smokery.
You know, one of the things I love about smoking and not me, but
Yes,
one of the things I love.
food. Yeah.
One of the things I love about smoking food is it's just another way, as chefs and as alchemists, that we can alter the food and just add those suave nuances, you know?
Yeah.
He uses sugar, cinnamon, star anise, tangerine peel and wild rice.
All right, so we make our little nest in the bottom of the wok, and we're just going to add our smoking mix to that wok and pop it on full boot.
It's not long before we're smoking.
Now you're getting hits of the cinnamon and the star anise as well.
Absolutely. And we pop this on top. We'll sit our wing in amongst that.
How fantastic.
And let that perfume, but this just gives it that really beautiful perfume that we're looking for.
We're on to the sauce next. Garlic and salt are pulverised.
And we're also going to add a couple of these fiery little chilies.
Yeah, the green ones are always much hotter, aren't they?
Absolutely.
The smaller, the fierier.
And if it's not salty, spicy or sweet enough, Nick adds previously smoked emperor fish.
Alrighty. That's our paste.
The fish is smoked and now finally roasted. Nick told me it was a salad, but this isn't a few cherry tomatoes and some iceberg lettuce.
All right, let's put together this salad.
Yeah,
so
we've got the paste nearly ready. We've got the lovely
absolutely.
fish
So
ready.
this wing's been roasted now. The paste needs to cool down.
Yeah.
And so we're just going to flake into here some of this beautiful, delicate meat, like I said, the brown meat almost, if you will, from underneath the wing. And even if you taste this in its own right, try some of that. It's so luxurious.
Everything is finally ready to go. Kaffir lime leaves, chilies, the roasted and smoked fish, coriander, and our reduced sauce.
Peanutty, sour, salty. It's like a Snickers almost in some ways.
That's just like the nicest peanut butter I've ever had. You know what I mean? I'd love that on a crumpet.
He adds papaya and mandarin.
Sprinkle that in there.
Finally, we're massaging.
Mixing it all together very gently because the sugar and the salt from the paste will start to break down those vegetables, and we don't want that to happen.
Yeah.
And we actually need a little bit of lime juice as well. And the fresh lime, is often as is often the case, the fresh lime just absolutely sets the whole thing off.
Yeah.
And finally, there's a little more chili. What do you reckon?
Yeah, a little more chili.
A little more chili is good for everyone, I reckon.
Good for the blood.
The last little bit of chili. And check the seasoning, and we'll start to. Bloody good.
We have an awful lot of flavours going on, but very little actual salad. Hold on, I see something green.
Okay, so I've got a plate.
Yeah.
And onto that we put one of our beetle leaf. There's a slightly astringent and bitter flavour.
I've had one of these before. There's nothing slight about it.
No, but
it ruined a scallop of mine. Last time I was in Australia.
We soak it in a little bit of water with some white sugar, and that helps to crisp up the leaves and drive off some of that astringency.
I was excited until now.
I absolutely love these leaves.
Mm.
Some beautiful ocean
Trout roe, more kaffir lime, and edible flowers are added as a final garnish. This dish is part of a 5-course tasting menu, which costs close to $100.
Here we go.
Hallelujah.
Keep going.
You're absolutely right. The leaf is mine. Not like that place on Oxford Street in Sydney, Toko.
But with this many ingredients and this attention to detail, I'd queue around the block.
It's got everything. It has the sweetness, it has the sourness, it has a little kick of the chili, and the little crunchy garlic too. The beetle leaf is divine. And there was me about to chuck it off the beetle leaf and say never. But actually, it's the perfect thing for it, and I just think it's remaining beautiful as I'm eating it.
As long as they don't charge per bite. This part of Queensland is tropical. Well, we are just above the Tropic of Capricorn, so it's hot and it's steamy.
Well, here I am on this absolutely glorious and boiling hot morning at the Freshwater Railway Station, one of the oldest train stations in the whole of Queensland, and I'm about to get on the Kuranda train through those mountains over there, through these wonderful lush rainforests to a wonderful mountain village where I'm going to go and cook with some local chefs and just explore the scenery.
I'm here for a unique train journey which will take me from Cairns to Kuranda, allowing me to explore the tropical rainforest. You get such a sense of history on this train, and the views really are some of the most stunning you could wish to see. Originally built to serve the tin mining industry that was so crucial to Queensland, farmers also moved in to grow coffee on the high slopes, and the village itself was established at the turn of the century. Construction of the railway, which runs for 23 miles from Cairns to Kuranda, started in 1882, and it took 1,500 men and 6 years to complete, and includes 15 tunnels and 37 bridges.
When you learn about the conditions that the migrant workers had to work under and endure whilst building this railway, it sort of slightly takes the shine off it a little bit. Literally, they built this railway by hand. They would, you know, blow up the mountains with dynamite and then literally dig with their bare hands and shovels. And many of them died whilst constructing the railway, not just from sort of fatal accidents, but also lots of disease as well. So it's worth having, but what sacrifices people had to make.
3 million cubic metres of earth had to be excavated during construction. That's the equivalent of more than 300 Olympic swimming pools. The railway takes you all the way up from sea level to 328 metres up the Maclister Range and takes us up into the Barron Gorge National Park. Sites include the Cascade Waterfall, the Stony Creek Falls.
How gorgeous, but this is the dry season, so imagine it in the rainy season when that water would just be gushing down that gorge there. Beautiful.
It took 6 years to complete, but just over an hour and a half to arrive at beautiful Kuranda.
Thanks, Kate.
You're welcome, Jonathan.
You've got a lovely mimosa, and I'll see you again, I hope.
I hope so. Come on.
Oh, here I am at Kuranda. It's very nice, isn't it? I bet. Station master clearly has green fingers too, I think.
You come here to immerse yourself in the indigenous wildlife and try the local delicacies. Chef Terry Pates thinks you can do both.
How are you?
Good, how are you?
Nice to see you.
Oh, you're right.
Now,
What is that on your plate?
they're different cuts of crocodile, which I'm going to cook in a moment. I'm going to make a crocodile curry.
I wish I'd never asked.
And we should be about ready.
Now, I'm not Bear Grylls. The closest I get to crocodile when travelling is when I pick up my luggage. But for you, I will touch a claw.
Oh, how'd you do? Right. Pleasure to meet you. Oh, it's really slimy, isn't it?
Well, if you're going to eat crocodile, a curry seems like a good idea. Terry has ground cardamom, cumin, fenugreek and cloves and marinated the crocodile meat.
And then any moment now, we'll put in that tomato con case. These are from the cherry tomatoes that grow nearly wild here. We can pour that in.
Looking like it's smelling really nice. I just keep
Coming along.
saying to myself, chicken, 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 chicken. Not stop. This really does look beautiful, I must say. It smells gorgeous too, and it's taken a matter of sort of minutes.
Minutes. I mean, that's ready now, basically, and it's nice with the tomato to give that a nice colour.
Terry is clearly an accomplished chef, but I have to ask why anyone would want to eat crocodile.
Of course, it's quite a nice talking point to go home and say you've eaten the crocodile, and, you know, if you can get some photographs of the crocodile like we have on the plate here, of course, it's even another added bonus.
Yeah.
So,
you see, I have had no interest in eating crocodile.
No.
Just to fill you in.
It looked like a delicious curry. It smells like a delicious curry. I have just to forget its principal ingredient is crocodile. Having it served to me in front of a crocodile-infested river isn't helping.
That rice is just lovely, and what an attractive little lemon wedge it is. Well, okay, here goes. So you've made me curry chicken.
Crocodile.
No, chicken. Well, I have to say, very tasty. Sauce is great. It is bland, isn't it? I was expecting something a little bit kind of fishier.
The meat is not very strong at all.
So yet again, another first for Mr. Phang. Here we are, eating crocodile in a rainforest in Kuranda. Something I thought I'd never be doing. I don't think I really want to eat the crocodile again, but it is very tasty.
Very good. Thank you very much.
I think it's your gorgeous curry sauce, actually.
I didn't want to offend Terry, but I'd rather meet than eat a crocodile. Because here in Kuranda, you come face to face with the local wildlife.
Well, I've been here for nearly 2 weeks, so it's about time I met one of you, isn't it? You want another little snackush? No, that's enough for you by the looks of it.
Australia has the world's largest and most diverse range of marsupials, and there's one I'm dying to meet. Koala keeper Meg has fixed it for me to meet Princess.
All right, this is our darling princess, by name and by nature, so here we go.
Is there anything that one shouldn't do?
Basically, you're gonna be her tree. So you wanna make sure you stay relatively still with her. Right. You don't wanna squeeze her too tight. I've actually got really fragile ribs, so just a little gentle cuddle. And as long as you keep her nice and supported under her bottom, she'll probably go right back to sleep like she's already done on me. So you'll be a very comfy tree. So I'm gonna sit her on this hand, and that one's just gonna wrap around her just gently for the cuddle. So just stay right there, and I'm gonna bring her over to you, and she'll just hop right up onto your hand.
Oh, look at her little face.
There we go, and then a little cuddle there. Oh. Beautiful.
Oh. And you kiss them?
You can kiss her if you like. She looks quite content there.
Heavy. But it feels lovely.
She's nearly 6 kilos, which doesn't sound like a lot, but she doesn't help you at all. It's a very dead weight.
Oh, she's not too smelly, is she?
No, the females tend to not be as stinky as the boys, of course.
Yeah, well, that's like in all areas of life, isn't it, really? Well, I think she's absolutely gorgeous, and I'd like to take her home with me.
Might not get through customs.
Yes. Give it a little kiss. No. Well, you go back to sleep. Go back to that tree.
Jonathan, what was it like?
That was lovely, actually. It's just like holding a really cute, quiet, affectionate child. No, really a lovely feeling.
I'll be sad to leave Princess, but I think she's already over me. I have a rather fabulous exit strategy. I'm going back down the rainforest by cable car. I'm being escorted by my guide, Louise.
What are we flying over?
So this is the Barron River, and as you were seeing on the way up on the Scenic Railway, that turns into the Barron Falls.
Right, OK. What is the scale of this rainforest?
It's 900,000 square hectares.
Right.
So it's pretty big, and that extends from further south down towards Mission Beach, like right up to the north. This is actually the narrowest section here, so it does vary.
But it's enormous. Look at how it's. Look at it. Look at the width of it.
It's the oldest continually surviving rainforest in the world. It's all World Heritage listed.
This rainforest itself is an incredible sight to behold. This place really is a study in evolution itself, at an awe-inspiring 100 million years old.
Oh, this is a really beautiful. I'm very glad that we did this, actually. It's a completely different journey than the train.
It is. The two complement each other. The train is sort of more heritage and history, whereas Skyrail and the rainforest is more about the environment.
And I think this is the right way round to do it.
It's a privileged position to be in, to take in this huge expanse of forest, which covers over 12,000 square miles and is home to thousands of plants and species, including over 400 very rare and endangered plants, rare birds indigenous to this rainforest, as well as marsupials, insects and reptiles that make it their home. It's an hour-and-a-half's journey, and having already flown over Sydney in a seaplane, this is my second trip of a lifetime. In 48 hours. I'm in Queensland, Australia. I've already taken a train into the heart of the rainforest, have met a huggy bear and cooked a crocodile curry. I'm now about to take a train over 1,000 miles south to Brisbane. And this another first. We're being taken by a brand new service, so we were practically on the maiden voyage of the Spirit of Queensland.
I'm always excited about train travel, and my journey today continues from Cairns all the way to Brisbane, which is going to take 24 hours on the train. I've travelled on some of the world's most iconic trains, but the newest train is the Spirit of Queensland. Now, this is a whole new concept in train travel. It's sort of like flying business class, but with a view, and being able to walk around. So I am excited to see what the experience is going to be like. Part of me feels that a 24-hour train journey, one, I've only got such limited time, is almost a waste of time. However, it could be the best thing I've ever done. So let's see if the Spirit of Queensland becomes one of Australia's next icons.
This is the inaugural journey of the Spirit of Queensland. High-speed train travel of the future is here. The service is designed to get business travellers and tourists alike down the entire coast of the Sunshine State in record-breaking time. I'm reliably informed it's supposed to be more akin to flying business class with your own seat that will turn into a bed. I'm going to be sat here, eating and sleeping for the next 24 hours. This is my home. I hope these doors aren't going to drive me mad.
What is immediately noticeable is it's so much quieter than some of the older trains, and things don't rattle as much, because when I'm sort of rested, things like rattling doesn't bother me at all. But if I'm a bit tired and you've got two sort of crystal glasses at the dinner table going like that, I feel like I have tinnitus and I start going nuts. So I think there's this absolutely, I've got immediate benefits and comparisons, and I think I'm quite excited, actually, now I'm on it.
A few carriages along from here is the buffet car, and I take the chance to try a gourmet delicacy, the Australian meat pie.
We have been debating for the last 2 weeks if Australia does indeed have its own cuisine or not, because every Australian home seems to be eating Thai food, Indian food, Chinese food and everything else. But here on this train, where I'm surrounded by real Australians, Queensland's finest, they are all eating the pie, and so I thought I'd better give it a go. So I've got one of the traditional Australian beef chunky pies, and I'm very excited. Probably one of the best things I've eaten in the last fortnight. You can't traverse Queensland without one.
It's a very relaxed atmosphere, and everyone is just kicking back and being themselves, including me. My skincare regime stops for no man. Those rays of the Sunshine State can cause terrible damage, you know. Blending in has never been my strong point. Thankfully, it's dinner time.
Thank you very much.
And that's open.
Lovely. Thank you, ladies.
Enjoy that.
Thank you.
It looks like airline food.
I'm just going to have to be honest about it. I'm used to gourmet trains now. Yes, it's a business class seat, but I'm afraid it's not a business class service, particularly as far as the meals go. So I was told that they'd run out of the beef, although I'm in the first cabin. So I said, OK, I'll have the lamb. And so it's described quite lusciously, and I don't really think that that does it to me. That's like a little canapé cocktail amuse-bouche kind of size of lamb, isn't it? If I had a toothpick, it would be gone in a second, wouldn't it? So let's give it a go. Tastes perfectly nice. There's just not a lot of it. What can I say? Anyway, not going to do me any harm to have a small meager meal. And actually, it would do me good just to have one small glass of wine as well. The one thing I will say about the journey thus far is that the scenery has been absolutely beautiful. I mean, really beautiful, and the sunset was fantastic.
And that's the beauty of this journey, watching the world go by very fast. Now, I've told you the truth about dinner because you're my friends, but I'm going to have to lie a bit to Katie, otherwise she might not make up my bed.
OK, well, I've had a lovely dinner, Katie, courtesy of you, and now I think it's probably time to snuggle up because we're going to be up early tomorrow, so I'm having an early night, although I have no idea what day it is, what time it is or anything, but it's dark, there's nothing else for me to eat tonight, and actually the bar's getting a little rowdy for me, so I'd love to see how you're going to turn this into a king-size bed for me.
Certainly, Jonathan.
Give it your best shot.
Deborah on that one, the king size.
So it'll take more than magic, but for Katie to press the right button.
Good earplugs.
Just watch out.
Thank you. Oh. Well, that is, I tell you something, longer than the bed on the Venice Simplon-Orient-Express, I think. How long is that bed, do you know?
1900 millimetres.
What's that in inches?
Oh, it's 1 metre, nearly 2 metres. So 1.9. And I'll just grab the rest of it. Yeah.
Could I have a nurse's corner? Now, is this going to get really hot? This is what I'm worried about. Is it gonna...
No, because the train will keep cool overnight.
Oh.
You'll find you'll be just comfy.
I was going to put on something cooler, but if I get hot and throw it off in the night, I don't want to give anybody a nasty shock. So I think I'll just stay like this. I have a change of clothes for the morning. Now, the other thing is, how many showers are there for?
4.
4. For how many?
35.
4 between. Do we have to start sort of getting our time down?
You find a lot of the other people
Don't bother. Yeah.
So good.
Thank you so much.
Pleasure.
I'll...
You enjoy your stay.
All right, shall I get in?
Close this.
No close-up on the trotters. They're not in good condition. I haven't had a pedi for a while, OK? Right.
There you go.
Well, oh. I tell you, it's not bad, is it? You know what's nice is that it's not too enclosed. On some trains, you know, in those bunk ones, when you literally are on a shelf, you feel like you're going to fall out, and I need to put my feet over and all that sort of stuff. So, yeah, pretty good, actually, and it's a lot better than any plain business class. Really? Yeah, but I've been on. I won't mention the airlines. I won't mention the culprits that have given me bad night's sleep over the years, but I think this one's going to be much better, and I've got 2 pillows, so great. Good night. Thank you, Katie. I've taken up too much of your time. You've only got another 36 to make, haven't you? I don't know. Let's see if I get a good night's sleep. The train is fairly smooth. It's very quiet. As long as it doesn't keep stopping and jolting and all of that, then I should be fine. But let's reassess it in the morning, shall we? You know how I can be.
Morning breaks and we're on the last leg of our journey. I'm on the Spirit of Queensland experiencing 21st century luxury train travel. It's a 1,000-mile journey from tropical Cairns to metropolitan Brisbane.
It is, the only way I can describe the whole experience is very similar to being on a plane. I slept in the way that I would on a plane, i.e. with sort of a little bit of frustration, irritation, slight discomfort every now and then. Because it's my size that's the problem, not the seat, because it's not the widest one, and it was quite firm. And it actually, in many ways, I might have been better off, like I am on a plane, sleeping up with on the chair with the pillow around me. But I'm in good spirits. It's not the worst night's sleep I've had on a train at all. It was absolutely fine. I slept on and off, so I got up at about 5 and had a really great shower, really good water pressure, really hot. I'm going back to England tomorrow, so I've got a very short time in Brisbane. I want to make the most of it and still make the most of this view because it's it's so varied, and there's always something of interest to look at, and you don't want to miss out on that, and that's the joy of this kind of train travel.
We arrive in Brisbane, Australia's third biggest city, and I reflect on an amazing Australian adventure.
Well, here I am. I'm in Brisbane after quite a gruelingly long journey. I feel remarkably refreshed, however. It is the way to see this beautiful country, and I have to say, Queensland has some of the most spectacular scenery that I've seen on a train journey ever. People were very fond of the Sunlander, which this train is now going to replace. I mean, that was really one of the icons of Queensland. But I do think this train will take over, and this train will become an icon too, given time. It depends what you want out of a train journey, and if you want to be as comfortable as possible and enjoy the scenery and get to Brisbane from Cairns quickly, this is probably the best way to do it.
It's been a tale of 3 trains. I loved the gourmet experience of the Indian Pacific that took me across the country from Perth to Sydney. I saw the incredible rainforest on the Kuranda Scenic Railway and experienced the future of cross-country train travel on this, the spirit of Queensland. And have experienced the true nature of a truly great nation.